Hey guys, and welcome. So in this video, we're going to run through a Klaviyo marketing tutorial for 2023. The things we're going to run through in this video is what are flows and how to set up flows, what are campaigns and how to set up campaigns, and then what are sign-up forms and how to set up sign-up forms. So let's dive in. Now, just before we dive in, who am I and why should you care? My name is Derek Stroh. I've generated over $100 million for our clients. I run an email marketing agency called Ascend Media, and I make these videos because I want retention and email marketing to be easy for anyone who watches and consumes these videos. So let's dive in. So initially, flows. What is an email flow? So flows are a series of pre-planned and automated email messages triggered by a specific user action or event. Now, they're designed to either nurture leads, guide customer through a sales cycle, or provide timely information. What's their purpose here? So their purpose is typically going to be to provide a personalized and relevant content to users based off of their actions, behaviors, and ultimately driving conversions and building customer loyalty. Now, the key thing here to remember is that flows are for people at a specific point in their buying journey, right? So each flow should help them address the objections at each stage of their customer journey, right? So if someone just initiated their checkout, they're going to have different objections than if someone has visited the website but hasn't even visited a product page yet, right? So we want to make sure we're addressing that in the email and in the flow. So here's how you can go about building flows. Now, if you want more in-depth training on how to build specific flows, you can definitely check out the rest of the channel. There's a ton of videos on how to build out specific flows as well. But this will go through exactly how you can just start to build a flow. So from the Klaviyo homepage here, you just go to flows on the left-hand side here. Let it load. And then on the right-hand side, you're going to see the top right here, it says create flow. So go ahead and create flow here. And then what you can do is you can either create from scratch, or you can choose one of these kind of pre-selected ones as well. So you've got a browse abandonment, a customer win back, etc. You can also browse by goal. It's kind of cool. You've got a lot of different options here to use from, pre-made flows. It's pretty simple if you want to just create one from scratch as well, or if you know how to do it, but you can definitely use one of these as a quick template. You can then go in here, just click it and say, all right, you just want to edit the name essentially. So this is customer thank you. It's already naming it for us because we just selected it. It gives you kind of a preview of what this actually looks like as well. So you can kind of look and be like, oh, is this the right one? Is this the one that I want? It even sets up the triggers for you, which is pretty sweet. So I'd go in here, I'd say, okay, create this flow. So then I'm going to direct you to this page where you can actually edit the flows. So as you can see here, you've got a trigger when someone places an order. Now, what you're going to want to do too is going to create flow filters as well, but that'll be for a little bit of a different video. But again, you'll have the trigger here. You can create the flow filters if you'd like. You can set the time delay if you want one. You can have a conditional split, etc. So this is how you go about building a flow. And basically each of these different steps, the trigger is really what's instigating and what's causing people to enter this flow. These time delays are just saying, hey, we want to wait, after someone's placed an order, we want to wait one day. And then we want to conditionally split this. So if someone's purchased in this situation, right, you can see when someone has placed an order, one equals one time. So if they've only placed it one time, they get one thank you message. And if they've placed an order more than once, then they get another thank you message, which is a repeat customer thank you message. And you can see how that's segmented here. You can then just go in here, click edit. You can preview it, but yeah, you can kind of see everything and how to create it in here. So you go ahead and edit the email, edit the subject line, preview text, sender name, etc. Yeah, that's effectively how you go about creating a flow. So the next piece is really that there's two types of flows here, right? There's pre-purchase flows, and these are a series of automated email messages designed to engage and nurture potential customers before they make a purchase, right? The goal of the pre-purchase flow is ultimately to build trust, to provide information, to address concerns, and ultimately to guide prospective customers towards actually buying and making a purchase decision, right? So examples of this would be like the welcome series, the abandonment flow. So this would be a browse abandonment, site abandonment, cart abandonment, or checkout abandonment. Again, like I said, if you've got questions about these specific flows, go ahead, check out the YouTube channel. There's a ton more on these specific flows as well on there. The second type of flow is a post-purchase flow. So what this is designed for is to engage and nurture customers after they've made a purchase, right? So these flows really aim to kind of enhance the customer experience, build on the customer experience, build brand loyalty, encourage repeat purchases, and ultimately gather somewhat useful feedback too, right? Like after someone's purchase, it might be beneficial to ask some questions, have a survey, that type of thing. So here's some examples of post-purchase email flows. One would be like an order confirmation. This is pretty standard. You can actually build this out in Klaviyo as well. Thank you emails, cross-sell or upsell emails, loyalty emails, and referral emails. This isn't an exhaustive list, but this is some examples of what you can do post-purchase as well. So shifting gears a little bit into campaigns. So what is an email campaign? Now, a campaign differs from a flow in that a campaign is sent to a campaign is a targeted email sent to a specific group of recipients with a particular purpose, such as marketing a product, promoting an event, or delivering value-added content. Now, a big thing to note here is that it's not triggered by a certain event, right? So it's not like, hey, someone enters their email into a pop-up and you're, entered into a welcome series flow, or someone added to cart and then the add to cart or the abandoned cart series goes off. This is just you're building out a targeted email and you're choosing when to send it. So the purpose here is basically to build and maintain relationships with a target audience, promote products, promote services, drive traffic to a website, build brand awareness, and ultimately just achieve specific goals. You could have product launches, you could have product spotlights, etc. Now, key features here versus flows is that segmentation is really important, right? So emails can be tailored to different audience segments based off of demographics, behavior, and other criteria. This is really, really important. Check out the segmentation video on the YouTube channel if you haven't already. This is so important. Content, so emails can contain text, images, links, interactive elements, etc. That's standard with flows and with campaigns. And then scheduling, so campaigns can be scheduled to reach recipients at optimal times too, versus a flow. You can turn on smart sending, which I can show you how to do that right now, actually. So smart sending on a campaign, or smart sending on a flow is just edited here. Now, I wouldn't recommend turning on smart sending. I'll get into that in a different video, but I wouldn't recommend turning that on just because you want people to receive this in the time that you're sending it, like when you want them to receive it, essentially, right? If someone submits their email to a welcome series, you want them to receive it right away, right? You don't want it to be up to chance and like, oh, maybe someone receives it like 2 days later, right? Or a day later, or whatever it might be, right? With campaigns, can be useful sometimes to use that scheduling. So this is where you build out campaigns. So you go in here, same kind of spot. I'm just going to go back to the home page here, and you just, instead of going to flows, you just go to campaigns here. Click on that, then go to create campaigns. And then you can choose if you want to set up an SMS campaign or an email campaign. We're just going to do email campaigns right now. I'd recommend naming this whatever, like something that would be memorable instead of just email campaign this. Like, let's say we want to do typically what we'll do is like product spotlight. And then we'll say, rattan bag, and then the date, that type of thing. And then you can select the date for the campaign as well. So let's say I'm going to do that. Click save and continue. Again, transfers this over. You can tag if you want, and then you choose the list or the segment that you're sending to. Like I said, this is super important. Make sure you watch that segmentation video, because it is like, if you don't segment properly, you could get yourself in a world of trouble. So make sure you're segmenting properly. Select the correct list that you want to send to based off of the email. Any people you don't want to send to. So it might be like the unengaged. You then want to basically, it's going to estimate how many people it's going to send to. So there's 6 people. This is just a kind of test campaign here. You then go continue to content. And then you just go ahead and build out the email. So it's very similar here, and it'll look very similar to the flows side of things. So again, subject line, preview text, send your name, send your email address, and then you can choose this to kind of drag and drop, right? You can choose text only or HTML if you know how to code, but drag and drop is quite easy and it's optimized for you as well. So that's where you go ahead and build campaigns. Now, the final piece here, and this could be either the first piece or the final piece, right, is email capture. And this is super, super, super important. So email capture is absolutely crucial. And we typically do that with a sign-up form, right? This is often overlooked, but it's a very crucial piece to email marketing. So what this helps to do is feed the flows, number one, and ensure the list is growing, right? So there's a few different ways that you can capture emails, which we can review later on, but pop-ups are our favorite for a variety of reasons. Pop-ups are basically the small windows that appear or overlays that appear over a website, typically triggered by an event such as like visiting a page, scrolling a certain amount, or attempting to exit the site. So what's the purpose of these? Again, the purpose is typically going to be to either grow the email list. That's going to be the number one way, grow the email or SMS list. Obtaining zero-party or first-party data from customers. This is really helpful if you've, for example, if you sell men's and women's products and you want to make sure men are receiving products for men and women are receiving products for women. You can have a both section as well if someone might be interested in both. But this is really, really important there too. And you can gather a lot of first or zero-party information there. And then also to promote a specific sale or offer, right? Like if you're running a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, it doesn't really make a ton of sense to have a welcome offer of like 10% for that time period, but it might make more sense to have a pop-up that allows people to, you know, opt in and receive that discount code for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? So this is where you go ahead and build out sign-up forms. Again, same spot here, go to the home page. On the left-hand side, you'll see sign-up forms. I'm just going to discard changes and exit here. And then similar to the flows, actually, you go create sign-up form, and then you can either build from scratch at the top here, or you can select one here. Now, if you're unsure about which one to select, go ahead and watch the sign-up forms video on our channel, because there's different reasons you might want to select each one, right? You might just want a basic one. You might want one that's a multi-step and email and SMS sign-up form. If you're just getting started with email marketing and SMS, I would just start with email, right? Like no need to complicate it. Let's just get started with email. Get the sign-up form set up for email, and Bob's your uncle. Get that rolling, right? So for example, if you just want to do like a simple pop-up, you can just use this one, call this, you know, first order discount. This is very important. So who and what list are people added to here? So what we typically want is going to be the newsletter or the main list. So this should always be the main list for your emails, because what we want is to add those people to the list. And once they've been added to the list, we want them to be enrolled in a welcome series, right? Again, more video on the welcome series in a different, or more information about the welcome series in a different video. But that's really important here. You then go and just click create form. And the actual process of creating the form is actually pretty easy. They make it quite simple to just drag and drop different fields. And again, there's a more in-depth pop-up video that you can kind of check out. But effectively, like you're going to be able to change the image here, the text here. You can add the text here. Oops, there we go. You can add different blocks here. So if you want to collect email, you know, this is the call to action. So again, you should just double check, make sure that call to action, if you click on it, it's going to take a half a second here. There we go. So again, you should just make sure that action is submit form, and then basically it submits to the list that you want it to submit to, and then it shows the next step. So the next step here, there is no next step on this one. So it would just go straight to success. And then again, you want to make sure you customize this as well, so it's not just success, you know. So very, very important. Really important to make sure you're doing that. Again, there's a more extensive video on exactly how to create these pop-ups, how to optimize them, what to look for, how to test, etc. but you can kind of see how to go about doing this. You can change the styles here, how you want it to appear. And then you can set up the targeting and behavior. So like when the pop-up's going to show up and that type of thing, and what kind of restrictions you're going to have on the pop-up, what rules you might have so that it doesn't show up for certain people, but it does show up for other people. Like, for example, if someone's already on the list, if someone's already purchased from you, you probably don't want to show them the same pop-up, right? You might want to show them a different one, right? And then you can add blocks here. So this is just like kind of basic blocks you can add. Again, check out that other video on the pop-up specifically. So key types of pop-ups here. Again, exit intent pop-ups. So this is just appearing when a user is about to leave a website and can be used to offer discounts or basically just to encourage people to stay on the site and take a specific action, right? Subscription pop-ups. So this is designed to capture emails and ultimately just build the email list or SMS list. Promotional pop-ups. This is what I mentioned with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? Excuse me. Promoting limited time offers, sales, or special offers like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This can be really helpful, and it speaks to exactly what people want to see at that given time, right? Really, really important note here. So pop-ups should always be designed with user experience in mind, right? Number one is offering like clear value. And two is offering a very easy way to dismiss them, right? If users aren't interested, they don't want to be bombarded, and they don't want to be like, where's Waldo with the X button to get out of this bloody pop-up, right? So overuse of the pop-ups is one way to really piss people off. And the other way is like, if there's no X here, right? You can edit this, right? And you can edit the color, but if you edit the color and it doesn't show up properly, people are going to be like, where is the X button? Like, how do I get out of this thing? And then that's going to reduce your conversion rates, both on this form and also on your website. And it's just going to ultimately like grind people's gears, right? So really, really important there. So that's kind of an A to Z on how to set up flows, how to set up campaigns, and how to set up pop-ups. Now, like I said, this is not a fully comprehensive overview of absolutely everything you can do. There's a lot more that you can dive into, and this could be a 7-hour video, which is why we break it down into easier bite-sized pieces on the YouTube channel. So if you enjoyed this content, please feel free to subscribe. I put out a ton of this content every week. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some value out of this. Cheers.